Hello again, friends. Welcome back to the Decision Masters podcast. Kirsten here. If you're watching, pardon my background. We're still in the middle of a move. And personally, I just find the blurred background super distracting. And my earrings unblur and re-blur and come in and out. And I just don't like it. So we're sticking with this background. This is our truth today. I'm so excited to share with you today something that came up in a recent client session that is a big aha for a lot of people. Whenever a client goes, aha, wait, I need to write this down, it's always a good indication. Somebody else out in the world needs to hear this right now because this is a concept that has helped many, many people I have worked with. So we're going to talk about it today. Committing to a plan when things are not perfect. Let's break down what we're talking about and why it feels so itchy and how we can feel better about it. So, whether or not you are a master planner and you love planning and your favorite thing to do is put together a plan and then execute it, or you're in a place where planning is really overwhelming and feels really hard and not your favorite thing, chances are, either way, something is not perfect. Something in how you would like things to go is not able to go that way. That's not how it's going to be. It can be really difficult to embrace a plan when you can see a pile of stuff right in front of you that's not perfect. It can be really hard to feel good about this is what we've planned. This is what we're going to do. Let's do it. It can be really hard to go ahead with prioritizing this one thing when you feel like there are 10 other priorities that you should be prioritizing. It can be really hard to commit to the few hours that you put on your calendar for this thing when it would be really easy and tempting to spend the entire day on that thing. It can be really hard to do something to the point that it's done and then move on from it when you really rather spend another 2 weeks on it, making it super perfect. This is what I'm talking about when I say we've made a plan and something in or around it is imperfect. Times like these, when we have a plan with something imperfect about it, our mind minions can go bananas. They can get very loud. They can want to judge and scream and point out all of the problems we are irresponsibly ignoring. And we can agree with them. We can say, yeah, I know I should be doing that, but I'm doing this instead. But that's wrong. It's bad. You're right, mind minion. I said I was going to do this way, and it is wrong and it is bad that I'm doing it this way, but this is how I'm doing it. I want you to notice how deeply unhelpful those thoughts are in order for you to execute this plan successfully. Notice the stress it creates, the second guessing it encourages, how much rethinking of decisions and recommitting and uncommitting and recommitting again is involved when this is how we operate. When this came up in a session recently, my client was explaining how she was doing what she had planned to do. But at the same time, it wasn't a good plan. It wasn't good enough. There were things that she should be doing that she wasn't doing, but she wasn't going to do them. A lot of circular problem talk here. And I asked her to first notice your mind minions are being very chatty and judgmental about this stuff. And I asked her to start consciously responding to herself, to the mind minions, and clarify, be super firm on where she stood about this stuff. That's not a problem. It's the plan. This was going to be new information to all of the inner minions who wanted to judge these things that she wasn't doing or the way she was doing things as a problem. She had to let herself know it's actually not a problem. It is, in fact, the plan to do things this way, to do this instead of that, to do what we're planning on doing. It can be really helpful to find examples from your real life when this has been the case and things worked. The world didn't catch on fire. You actually succeeded at the thing that you planned on doing. So you can help yourself believe yourself when you start telling yourself what's what. This isn't a problem. It's the plan. We don't need to spend more time judging and stressing about this because this is how we're doing things. So I want you to think back just through life. When have you done something that felt like it should be a problem, but was in fact the plan and it worked out? Did you build savings while you paid down debt? Sometimes that can feel like a problem, right? Our minds are like, there's debt. We should pay it down. What are you doing? Keeping this cash and not putting it towards your payments. But did you do that and did it work? Did you let your backyard die while you were focusing on a remodel in the front and you didn't have time to tend the garden or you didn't want to pay for the water? Looks like a problem wasn't in fact the problem. You got the remodel done and then, hey, maybe you moved on to the backyard. That would happen. Did you, this is a super common one, only study for a test for 1 hour, or only prep for a presentation for 1 hour, or only fill in the blank for 1 hour, even though your all or nothing A+ student perfectionist tendencies were urging you to spend 2 weeks on this thing? Did you decide this is only worth an hour? It's only going to get an hour. I only have an hour. An hour is fine. That's a really great example of this concept we're talking about today. Felt like a problem, was in fact a plan. And did it work out? We need to be able to believe ourselves when we start actively shifting our own perspective on this stuff, because the truth is, nothing is factually a problem. Nothing is objectively bad. You doing something one way or not doing something or doing something instead of another thing, there's no ultimate authority who's in charge of defining how good or bad those are. It's all up to you. So we have to deflate how factual the problems feel that our mind minions keep pointing out along the way of us executing our plans. All the mind minions are judging is what they've been conditioned and taught to judge. And that's not a bad thing. That's just how we work. That's how human brains operate. But that means you get to take their judgments with giant chunks of salt. We don't necessarily have to believe every thought we have about, I should really be watering the backyard. It's really bad that I'm letting the backyard die. It's really bad that I'm only working on this for an hour. We can't take those judgments at face value. You have to put yourself in charge of assigning any meaning to these things. So here's some questions that can help you. Figure out where you stand on everything, all the plans, all the quote unquote problems, and move forward with the plan that you feel really good about and that you don't have to second guess every step along the way. Am I clear on what the first priority is or what the top next projects are? You have to apply this to your specific situation, but if we're using the backyard scenario, am I clear what the priority is? If the priority is finish the remodel before the rainy season, then that's the priority. The priority is not keep the backyard pretty and alive at any cost. Great. We have to know where we stand on that. If the scenario is you just have a bunch of ongoing projects and you've picked one to focus on and finish before you do anything else. I had a client actively decide that about his house projects. He had a bunch of house projects that he constantly felt judgmental and disappointed about not moving forward on, but he had picked what was most important first. So you have to take the time to clarify that for yourself. This is where conversations with coaches, I am biased, but there's a reason they work. This is where conversations with coaches are very helpful because you get to sift through your thoughts and organize them to a point where you feel clearer, where it's written down, where we've understood our thinking and we agree with it. We know and we like our reasons. This is the priority, or this is what's getting done, or this is what's important. And that means this is what's not important. This is what's not the priority. So that's your first question. Am I clear on what's the priority? What is important? What's first? Then, am I making progress on them? Or things getting done? Not perfectly, but at all. This is part of how you're going to embrace and love and be able to commit to your plan and execute it. If you've decided the priority is the remodel, great. Is it getting done? Are you making progress? If you're not, there's a kink in the plan that needs fixing. Something is preventing progress, which is not allowing you to trust the plan. And we're not going to trust a plan that we can't see is working in some way. So, am I clear on the priority or what's important? And are things getting done? Am I making progress? And then here's the kicker. Is it really okay? This thing isn't getting done, or these things are not the first top next priority, or that this is going to get done in this imperfect way. Is it okay or is it not okay? All right, we're going to go into coaching 201 here. Okay. It's next level, but you can handle it. I need you to hear me on this. A little tough love time. You are not allowed to answer. It's not okay, but I am going to do it that way anyway. Okay. What I want you to hear from yourself when we say things like this, well, it's not okay, but it is how it is. It's not okay, but that is the plan. What I want you to hear yourself saying in those moments is, well, the air is toxic, but I'm going to keep living here anyway. No, that's not an acceptable answer. All right. If you're going to decide something's not okay, you have to take action to change it. If the air is toxic and we're deciding that's not okay, what are we going to do about it? Are you going to fix it yourself? Are you going to hire somebody to help you? Are you going to ask for 10 favors? Are you going to start a GoFundMe? What are we going to do to change what's not okay? If you're not going to do anything to change what's not okay, because we only have so many resources and we're going to devote them to the remodel because that's what the remodel requires to get it done before the rainy season. So the backyard is, in fact, not going to get our attention. If you're not going to take any action to change what feels like a problem, we have to decide it is the plan. We have to decide it is okay. I am not saying that you have to love it. I am not saying you have to do cartwheels about it and gaslight yourself that it's the best, ideal, happiest scenario. But I am saying you put yourself in charge of your plan. And we are no longer going to live this life where we create a plan and execute it at the same time as saying it's not good and it's not okay. You wouldn't qualify the air in your home as toxic and then continue living there. So it's either toxic and we're going to do something about it, or it's not toxic. And you living there is something that you can take ownership of and commit to and execute. So I hope this helps you have a more empowered perspective. If you are in any kind of situation where the plan doesn't seem perfect, the plan seems to have these weird anomalies where you actually expect things to be B minus okay, not A plus perfect, or you actually deprioritize something that feels really, really important, but just isn't going to happen this month. I want you to start getting on board with these things you really are planning for so you can feel good about the life you're living, so you can feel in charge of it, so you can not feel like you're waking up to a plan to fail every day. You're not. And if something needs to change, then that's another plan we can make. All right? Fired up about this one today. Let me know if I can help you. I am here to help. Sometimes it is a mindset shift that needs to happen. Sometimes it's part of your plan that needs to change. And most of the time, it's both. We got to work on how you're thinking about things and how you're doing things. An outside perspective can really change the game when it comes to helping you see what you're not looking at, or where you're getting in your own way, or where you're slowing yourself down, or what opportunities you're skipping over and not allowing yourself. So book your free consult if you want to talk about how we can work together. KirstenParker.com/schedule. Remember, there's more than one way we can work together. We can work together one-on-one for a few months and get progress on a goal and get some questions answered and make some habit change happen along the way. We can also work together short term for a couple weeks. Focus on one decision, one plan, one thing at a time. So I can't wait to talk to you soon and help you out in whatever way you need. And I can't wait to talk to you again next week. We'll see you soon. Hey, want to find out your decision style? Obviously, go take the decision style quiz. It's in the show notes and at kirstenparker.com/quiz. We all have our style when it comes to making decisions, but do you know how to use your default way of thinking to your advantage? Or do you mainly get stuck in the most annoying parts of overthinking and people pleasing? The decision style quiz has your answers, my friend. Take it right now at kirstenparker.com/quiz.